if you're listening to this, chances are you know the feeling. That beast mode burden.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Monday morning, you're just filled with this massive ambition. You have a whole new plan, a 2-hour gym session. And then by, Wednesday afternoon,
Yeah.
you're completely burnt out.
And reaching for the emergency snack stash. It's an incredibly common cycle. And we really have to say this right at the top, that crash isn't you failing. It's not a failure of willpower.
It's a failure of strategy.
It's a failure of strategy. For way too long, the whole approach has been about fighting your own body, thinking it's just a simple math problem, calories in, calories out.
Exactly. And we've been looking at some great material, including from Sundried. And the goal of this deep dive is really to flip that script.
Yeah.
We need to start fighting our biology and, start outsmarting it, using these things we're calling easy wins.
Because that simple math just ignores the
Yeah.
complexity. The human body is a survival machine. When you start a really restrictive diet, your body doesn't think, oh, great, beach season. It thinks famine is coming.
Right.
And the key nugget we have to unpack right away is a concept called metabolic adaptation.
Okay, metabolic adaptation. Let's get right into that. What is it actually doing to us?
Well, when your body perceives this starvation, it pulls the emergency brake. It launches all these defense mechanisms. It doesn't just burn fewer calories when you exercise. It lowers your entire energy output.
So
Everything. You might fidget less, feel colder. It dials down functions. It sees as non-essential. Your body basically learns to do more with less, to run on fumes.
So if I go on some crazy restrictive diet, my metabolism actually slows down to meet that low intake, which makes it harder to keep losing. And then when I stop, the weight just comes flooding back.
Precisely. And that's before we even talk about the hormonal civil war that's going on inside you.
Hormonal war. Okay, who are the combatants here?
We're talking about ghrelin and leptin. Think of leptin as the manager. It's released by fat cells and it tells your brain, hey, we're good. We got plenty of energy stored. It's the satiety signal.
And ghrelin.
Ghrelin is the opposite. It's the urgent memo from the stomach saying, I'm empty, eat now. It's the hunger hormone.
So when you go into that deep restriction,
Ghrelin just ramps up screaming for food, while leptin, that safety signal, just plummets. So you're left with this intense biological hunger that, honestly, no amount of willpower can fight long term.
which is the whole point of these easy wins then, to sort of fly under the radar so that alarm system never gets triggered.
Exactly.
That reframes everything. So if restriction starts a war, our first move has to be to stabilize the system. Which brings us to win number 1, prioritizing the rest and digest system, basically sleep and stress.
This is so foundational. I mean, a lack of sleep is a massive hormonal destabilizer. Study after study shows that sleeping less than 7 hours is a real double whammy. It makes ghrelin go up and leptin go down.
So you literally wake up hungrier and the food you do eat is less satisfying.
Yes. And it gets even worse. There's a fascinating point in the sources about what kind of fuel your body burns when you're tired.
Oh, right. Tell us about that.
It's crucial. When you're sleep deprived and in a calorie deficit, your body is much more likely to burn lean muscle for energy instead of fat.
You're burning the engine to fuel the car.
Perfectly put.
Yeah.
You are sacrificing your metabolic rate because muscle burns calories even when you're just sitting there.
So you're actively making it harder to keep weight off in the future. And then there's the other side of this coin, stress.
Cortisol.
The cortisol problem.
Yeah.
Chronic stress keeps cortisol high, which is another signal to your body that times are tough. And that encourages your body to store fat, specifically around the middle, and it triggers those intense cravings for
Comfort foods. Sugary, processed stuff.
the quick energy hits.
So the action here seems almost too simple. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Use 5 minutes of deep breathing to lower cortisol. But can 5 minutes of breathing really fight back against, say, a super stressful job? It's not a magic pill, but it's a circuit breaker. That cortisol flood is what leads directly to the stress-induced snack rate. Taking just 5 minutes for deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest side. It physically stops that stress response in its tracks just for a moment. And that moment is enough to give you the clarity to make a better choice.
So win 1 is about setting the biological stage.
Okay.
Win number 2 is my favorite, I think, because it just completely removes willpower from the equation. It's about becoming the architect of your environment.
Yes. This is one of the most powerful ideas from behavioral science. Think of willpower not as a character trait, but as a phone battery.
Okay.
Every decision you make all day drains that battery. By the time you get home, you're running on fumes. So environmental engineering means you set things up so the healthy choice is just easier. It's the default.
You're removing the decision, and the sun-dried material had some perfect examples of this.
The first one is just simple visibility. It's the fruit bowl rule.
The fruit bowl rule.
Yet research has actually linked just keeping a fruit bowl on your kitchen counter to a lower BMI. If it's there, if it's easy, you'll grab it.
And the reverse is true for the bad stuff, right? The opaque container trick.
Exactly. Keep the cookies or the chips in containers you can't see through and put them somewhere inconvenient, a high shelf, the back of the cupboard.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It really works. If you have to get a chair and search for 60 seconds, you're just more likely to give up on the snack mission.
And this subtle psychology just keeps going with plate-size physics. I love this.
It's pure optics, isn't it? We eat with our eyes. If you just use a slightly smaller plate, say 9 inches instead of 12,
The same amount of food looks like more.
it fills the plate. So your brain perceives a larger, more satisfying meal.
Yeah.
You're cutting calories without even feeling deprived.
Okay, so we've got our hormones stabilized and our environment designed for success. The next step seems to be about building momentum without relying on motivation. That's win number 3. Master the art of habit stacking.
This is how you build consistency that lasts. The science here is that you're piggybacking a new habit onto one that's already automatic. You're attaching a new habit to a really strong existing neural pathway.
And you make the habits too small to fail. What's the formula?
It's super simple. It's just after I do my current habit, I will do my new habit.
Okay, so give us some real-world examples of that.
Your morning routine is the perfect place to start. So, for hydration, after I pour my first coffee, I will drink a large glass of water.
Simple.
Or for movement. After I finish my lunch, I will go for a 10-minute walk. Or even after I brush my teeth at night, I will lay out my workout clothes for the morning. Because the new habit is so small and it's linked to something you already do without thinking, it takes almost zero motivation to get it done.
And that consistency is what really compounds over time, especially when you pair it with win number 4, which is about the psychology of eating, addition over subtraction.
This is such a critical mindset shift. Traditional diets are all about no this, no that.
Right. It immediately triggers that feeling of deprivation.
Which, because of the hormones we talked about, often leads to a binge. So instead of focusing on no, we focus on yes. What can we add to feel satisfied?
And the strategy for that is volume eating. It sounds like the opposite of a diet.
It kind of is. Volume eating just means you prioritize foods that take up a lot of space but aren't high in calories. So things with a lot of fiber and water. Think salads, soups, vegetables.
And what's the mechanism there? How does that work?
The fiber absorbs water and it physically expands in your stomach. That stretching of the stomach walls is a powerful direct signal to your brain that you're full.
It's a biological hack. And there's a specific tactic for this called preloading, right?
Yes, the preloading strategy. It's brilliant. Before you eat your main meal, have a small bowl of a broth-based vegetable soup or a simple salad with a vinaigrette. You start filling up on the high-volume, low-calorie stuff first.
So you naturally eat less of the main course.
By up to 20%, some studies show. It's a natural portion control that feels like abundance.
And we can do this with simple swaps, too. Performance moves, not just diet moves.
Yes, easy density swaps, like swapping mayonnaise for mashed avocado or hummus. You're adding fiber and healthy fats.
Or white pasta for a whole grain or lentil-based one.
Exactly. These aren't sacrifices, they're upgrades. You're getting better, slower-burning fuel that keeps you full longer.
Okay, so we have 4 wins that cover our internal biology, our environment, our behaviors, and our nutrition. Now let's shift to win number 5, which is about movement, but not necessarily the gym. It's about maximizing our NEAT.
NEAT. It stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Which is a very fancy way of saying
It's all the calories you burn doing everything that isn't a formal workout. Standing, walking to your car, fidgeting, doing chores.
And the surprising thing is that this is often more important than that 1 hour at the gym.
It can be far more effective for long-term management. Because you can have a killer workout, burn 400 calories, and then sit completely still for the next 10 hours. NEAT is the constant low-level burn all day long.
So how do we boost it without it feeling like a chore?
You just have to break the sedentary cycle. The half-hour challenge is a great start.
Okay, what's that?
You just set a timer. Every 30 minutes, stand up and move for 2 minutes. That's it. Do some squats, walk around the room. It interrupts that long period of sitting.
And then there are the classics, like the furthest spot rule.
Always park at the back of the car park.
Yeah.
Always take the stairs. Walk around when you're on a phone call. They seem tiny, but they add up to hundreds of calories over a day.
And the sun-dried material had a great example of using your local environment for this.
Yes, leveraging your healthscape, they called it. For example, walking the length of the South End Pier and back.
Right.
That's over 3 miles of flat, easy movement. It's a huge, neat boost,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like a punishing workout because it's integrated into life.
Which brings us to the final, really critical piece of this. The solution for breaking that dreaded yo-yo cycle. This is where it all comes together.
And this is where most diets go so wrong. When weight is lost too fast, you don't just lose fat, you lose a lot of muscle. And then when you regain the weight, which is almost inevitable, you regain it as fat.
That's a terrible trade-off.
It's a metabolic disaster. You end up with less muscle to burn calories, so your metabolic engine gets smaller and smaller with each cycle. It's a condition called sarcopenic obesity.
So what's the antidote? How do we protect the engine?
Two pillars: resistance training and protein pacing. You have to send a powerful signal to your body to keep the muscle. Lifting weights, body weight exercises, that stimulus tells your body to burn the fat and spare the muscle.
And protein isn't just about eating a big steak for dinner, is it? The pacing is key.
The pacing is crucial. Your body can only use so much protein for muscle repair at one time. So the goal is to consume about 20 to 40 grams of protein 4 to 6 times throughout the day.
So you're constantly feeding the muscle.
You're constantly stimulating muscle protein synthesis. And, just as importantly, you're counteracting the body's drive to be hungry when it senses it's losing lean mass. Consistent protein keeps you full and protects your metabolism.
So when we pull all of this together, what's the big picture?
The big picture is that sustainable weight management is about building a lifestyle architecture. You're designing a system where health just happens more automatically. You're working with your biology, sleep, environment, neat protein, instead of constantly fighting against it with brute force.
It's the ultimate efficiency play. And the final piece of advice on how to actually start this from sun-dried is probably the most important. Don't try to do everything at once.
Please don't. Trying to do all 5 wins on Monday will just lead to that same crash and burn. Pick one. Just one. Maybe it's the habit stack of drinking water after your coffee. Or maybe it's just getting to bed 30 minutes earlier.
And stick with just that one thing.
For 2 full weeks, make it automatic. Only then should you think about adding the next layer, like putting the fruit bowl out or trying the half-hour challenge. Success is built one simple layer at a time.
So what does this all mean for you, listening to this? Since we know that willpower is a finite resource, think about this for the week ahead. What's the very first piece of environmental engineering you can implement? What's the one thing you can remove or hide or make just a little bit harder to get to so that the healthy choice becomes the path of least resistance? That one small shift is where the really big results begin. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.